Did you know that nearly 92% of adults over 65 are making daily mistakes that slowly damage their brain health? Memory lapses, brain fog, and even dementia are often linked to habits we overlook. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 most common errors older adults commit and the proven strategies to keep your brain sharp and healthy. Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Miller. Welcome to Matthew Miller TV, the channel where we explore practical, science-backed ways to live longer, healthier, and happier lives. If you care about your health and well-being, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss valuable insights designed to help you and your loved ones. Now, let's dive straight into the 5 everyday mistakes that silently destroy brain health after 65, and how you can avoid them. Mistake number 1. Poor diet and lack of brain-boosting nutrients when it comes to brain health after 65. Diet is one of the most overlooked yet most influential factors. Research from the National Institutes of Health shows that nutrition directly affects memory, focus, and the risk of developing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. But unfortunately, many older Americans continue to follow eating patterns that accelerate cognitive decline. The consequences. Let's start with what actually happens inside the brain. Diets high in added sugar and unhealthy fats increase inflammation and oxidative stress, 2 processes strongly linked with faster cognitive aging. According to the Alzheimer's Association, individuals with diets rich in processed foods are up to 53% more likely to develop dementia compared to those who follow balanced, nutrient-rich diets. Deficiencies in omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins, and antioxidants further compromise the brain's ability to protect neurons, leading to memory lapses and slower thinking. For example, studies from Harvard School of Public Health found that low intake of leafy greens and berries correlates with measurable declines in memory test performance among seniors. The underlying causes. Why do so many older adults in the US fall into poor dietary habits? First, convenience. Processed foods dominate American grocery stores, and frozen dinners or fast food drive-thrus are often easier and cheaper than cooking from scratch. Second, lifelong eating habits. Someone who grew up eating fried chicken, mashed potatoes, or sugary cereals may find it difficult to suddenly embrace quinoa salads and kale smoothies. Third, emotional comfort. Food is deeply tied to culture and tradition. Biscuits and gravy in the South, hot dogs at summer barbecues, or ice cream after dinner. At 65 or older, many people feel they've earned the right to eat whatever they want, even if it's damaging their health. A real-life story. Consider Linda, a 68-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio. Most mornings, she skips breakfast or grabs a slice of white toast with jam and a cup of coffee loaded with sugar. Lunch often means canned soup or a fast food sandwich. Dinner might be fried chicken with mashed potatoes, and dessert is almost always ice cream. For Linda, these foods are part of her daily rhythm, quick, tasty, and comforting. But over the past 2 years, she's noticed her memory slipping. She forgets appointments, misplaces her keys more often, and sometimes struggles to recall familiar names. During a checkup, her doctor explained that her diet high in sodium, sugar, and processed fats is contributing not only to rising blood pressure, but also to early signs of cognitive decline. Linda's story is far from unique. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), nearly 70% of American adults over 60 are overweight or obese, and dietary choices are a major factor. What's more alarming is that obesity, hypertension, and diabetes, conditions strongly influenced by diet, all significantly increase the risk of Alzheimer's disease. The solutions. The encouraging news is that it's never too late to change. Studies from Rush University Medical Center introduced the MIND diet, a combination of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, and found that seniors who closely followed it reduced their risk of Alzheimer's by up to 53%. Even those who followed it moderately still lowered their risk by about 35%. So what practical steps can older Americans take? Prioritize leafy greens and vegetables. Aim for at least 1 serving of spinach, kale, or broccoli every day. These are packed with vitamin K, lutein, and beta-carotene, all proven to support brain health. Incorporate berries several times a week. Blueberries and strawberries, in particular, are rich in flavonoids that improve memory. A study published in Annals of Neurology found that women who ate berries twice per week delayed cognitive aging by up to 2.5 years. Choose whole grains. Swap white bread or pasta for oats, brown rice, or quinoa to maintain steady energy and reduce blood sugar spikes that can harm the brain. Add healthy fats. Replace butter with olive oil. Snack on walnuts or almonds, and eat fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, or trout twice per week for omega-3 fatty acids that protect neurons, reduce sodium and added sugar. That means cutting back on canned soups, deli meats, sodas, and desserts. Instead, use herbs, garlic, and lemon juice for flavor. Stay hydrated. Mild dehydration can impair focus and memory, yet many seniors don't drink enough water daily. The key is not perfection but progress. For someone like Linda, replacing sugary. Mistake number 2. Physical inactivity. When we talk about aging and brain health, most people think of diet, medication, or genetics. But one of the most powerful and overlooked factors is movement. Physical inactivity. Spending most of the day sitting has become a silent threat to older adults in America. The CDC reports that nearly 28% of adults over 65 are physically inactive, meaning they get no regular exercise at all outside of basic daily activities. That inactivity doesn't just weaken the body, it accelerates the brain's decline. The consequences. So what happens to the brain when we don't move? First, blood flow decreases. The brain relies on a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients, and exercise boosts circulation. Without it, areas like the hippocampus, the memory center of the brain, literally begin to shrink. According to the Mayo Clinic, sedentary seniors are at a 50% higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who engage in regular physical activity. Second, lack of exercise reduces neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and repair itself. A groundbreaking study from the University of Illinois found that older adults who walked briskly for just 40 minutes, 3 times a week, increased the size of their hippocampus by 2%. That might sound small, but in brain health, it's the difference between staying sharp and sliding into memory loss. Finally, inactivity raises the risk of conditions that indirectly harm the brain: obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Each of these doubles or even triples the risk of Alzheimer's disease, according to the Alzheimer's Association. In other words, sitting too much doesn't just stiffen your joints, it literally starves your brain. The underlying causes. Why do so many older Americans avoid exercise? One major reason is pain. Arthritis, knee replacements, or chronic back issues make even simple movements uncomfortable. George, a 72-year-old retired mechanic from Michigan, is a clear example. After developing severe knee pain, he stopped going for his daily walks. Instead, he spends hours in front of the television, convinced that moving will only make things worse. Another cause is fear of falling. Many seniors feel unsteady, and the idea of exercising without support seems risky. The irony, of course, is that inactivity actually weakens muscles and balance, making falls even more likely. Finally, there's habit. Americans live in a car-centered culture, and after decades of sedentary jobs or commutes, exercise may never have been part of daily life. At retirement, without the structure of work, many slip into even more inactivity. A real-life story. Take George's story. At 72, his knees hurt every time he tried to walk, so he gave up. Within 2 years, his doctor noticed not only increased stiffness and weight gain, but also concerning memory lapses. George often forgot the names of his neighbors, misplaced his wallet, and sometimes couldn't recall why he entered a room. His doctor explained that the lack of movement was starving his brain of oxygen-rich blood. George represents millions of older Americans. According to the National Institute on Aging, seniors who remain inactive are not only more prone to dementia, but also face greater risks of depression and loneliness, conditions that further weaken the brain. The solutions. The good news. Movement doesn't have to mean running marathons or lifting heavy weights. Even modest, consistent activity provides profound benefits for the brain. Here's what experts recommend. Aim for 30 minutes a day, walking around the block, strolling at the mall, or even marching in place while watching TV all count. The key is consistency. Try chair exercises. For those with knee or back pain, seated routines using light resistance bands or small hand weights can safely build strength. Practice balance-focused activities. Tai Chi and chair yoga are excellent for seniors, reducing fall risk while improving circulation to the brain. A study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found Tai Chi improves memory and thinking skills in older adults. Incorporate functional movement. Everyday tasks, gardening, cleaning, or climbing stairs, provide natural exercise and help maintain independence. Seek support. Senior centers, YMCA programs, and community walking groups across the U.S. provide safe, structured opportunities to stay active. Even for someone like George, the turnaround is possible. By switching from long walks to gentle chair yoga and short strolls, he regained mobility and noticed improved focus within months. His doctor encouraged him to move a little, often, and the small steps added up to major changes. The message: movement isn't just about muscles or joints, it's medicine for the brain. Every step you take pumps oxygen and nutrients into your neurons, protecting your memory and keeping you sharp. At 65 or 75, it's not too late. Whether it's walking, stretching, or light resistance training, motion truly is medicine. Motion is medicine not just for your heart, but for your brain. Mistake number 3. Ignoring mental stimulation. When most people think about keeping their brain healthy, they often focus on eating well or exercising. But there's another powerful factor: mental stimulation. Just like muscles, the brain needs regular workouts to stay sharp. Yet in the US, millions of seniors unknowingly let their minds drift into inactivity. According to the Alzheimer's Association, over 40% of Americans over 65 engage in little to no mentally stimulating activities on a regular basis. That's like leaving your brain in idle mode for years. The consequences: so what happens when the brain isn't challenged? Researchers at Harvard Medical School explain that a lack of mental activity accelerates the decline of cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to adapt, form new connections, and compensate for age-related changes. Without stimulation, neurons lose efficiency, and communication between brain cells weakens. This isn't just theory. A study published in Neurology found that older adults who rarely engage in mentally stimulating activities were nearly twice as likely to develop dementia within 5 years compared to those who kept their minds active. Another major consequence is memory decline. Watching TV for hours, for example, provides passive entertainment but doesn't demand much thought. The University College London tracked seniors who watched more than 3.5 hours of television daily and found a significant drop in verbal memory over 6 years for Americans, where TV remains the most common leisure activity among retirees. This is a serious red flag. Beyond memory, lack of mental engagement increases risks of depression, social withdrawal, and even physical decline. Why? Because when the mind becomes passive, motivation for daily activities shrinks, and the cycle of inactivity deepens. The underlying causes: why do so many older adults in the US neglect mental stimulation? One reason is routine comfort. After retiring, many seniors feel they've earned the right to relax. While rest is important, replacing active thinking with hours of television or repetitive habits quietly erodes brain power. Another cause is lack of access or motivation. Some may feel that learning something new is too hard at their age. Others don't know about the free or low-cost resources available in libraries, senior centers, or online. Finally, there's isolation. Seniors living alone, especially in suburban or rural areas, may not have regular interaction with others. Without conversation, debate, or collaboration, the brain misses opportunities to stretch and grow. A real-life story: Susan, a 70-year-old retired teacher in Ohio, used to spend her days engaged in challenging work, but after retirement, she fell into a routine of watching TV, scrolling social media, and occasionally doing crossword puzzles. At first, it seemed harmless, but within a few years, she noticed her memory slipping, forgetting appointments, misplacing keys, and struggling to recall familiar names. Her doctor explained that her lack of daily mental stimulation was partly to blame. The mental muscles she had used while teaching were no longer being exercised. Susan's case isn't unique. The National Institute on Aging confirms that seniors who stay mentally active maintain sharper focus, better reasoning, and slower rates of memory decline. The solutions: the great news is that mental stimulation is within everyone's reach, and it doesn't require going back to school. Experts suggest weaving brain challenges into everyday life. Learn something new. Whether it's painting, digital photography, or using a new app, novelty forces the brain to form new pathways. Many US community colleges and libraries offer free or discounted classes for seniors. Read daily. Books, newspapers, or even articles online keep language skills sharp. According to a neurology study, reading regularly lowers the risk of Alzheimer's by 30%. Play brain games. Crossword puzzles, Sudoku, chess, or word searches aren't just hobbies. They actively strengthen problem-solving skills. Apps like Lumosity or Elevate provide structured brain training. Learn a language or musical instrument. Even learning basic Spanish phrases or trying simple piano songs stimulates multiple brain regions, improving memory and attention. Stay curious. Ask questions, explore hobbies, or dive into topics that fascinate you. Curiosity is fuel for lifelong learning. Engage socially. Conversations, debates, and storytelling are powerful mental workouts. Joining book clubs, community groups, or even online discussion forums helps keep the mind alert. For Susan, the turnaround came when she joined a local book club and enrolled in a free computer class at her library. Within months, she noticed improvements in her memory and focus. More importantly, she regained confidence, realizing her brain was still capable of learning and growing. The message: mental stimulation isn't about avoiding relaxation, it's about balance. The brain thrives when it's challenged with novelty, problem-solving, and social engagement. At 65 or 75, it's never too late to grow new connections and Mistake number 4. Poor sleep habits. When it comes to brain health, many seniors focus on diet or exercise but overlook one of the most essential pillars: sleep. Yet, in the US, sleep problems are widespread among older adults. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), nearly 50% of Americans over age 65 report regular difficulty falling or staying asleep. Unfortunately, poor sleep isn't just about feeling tired the next day. It directly affects the brain's ability to repair, protect memory, and prevent long-term decline. The consequences: sleep is the brain's nightly reset button. During deep sleep, the brain clears away toxins, including beta amyloid, a protein strongly linked to Alzheimer's disease. Research from the National Institutes of Health (NIH) shows that adults who consistently get fewer than 6 hours of sleep have a 30% higher risk of developing dementia compared to those who sleep 7 to 8 hours. Poor sleep also disrupts memory processing. Without enough restorative sleep, new information struggles to transfer from short-term storage, the hippocampus, into long-term memory. That's why older adults who sleep poorly often experience senior moments, forgetting names, appointments, or where they put things. But the impact doesn't stop there. Sleep deprivation impairs focus, mood, and decision-making, increasing the likelihood of depression, anxiety, and even accidents. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine reports that older adults with chronic insomnia are nearly twice as likely to develop depression. Physically, poor sleep increases the risk of high blood pressure, stroke, and heart disease, all of which also harm brain health. The causes: why do so many older Americans struggle with sleep? There are several common reasons. Stress and worry. Concerns about health, finances, or family often keep seniors awake at night. Poor bedtime habits. Watching TV in bed, scrolling on a phone, or drinking caffeine or alcohol late in the evening can all interfere with sleep quality. Medical conditions. Issues like arthritis, pain, frequent urination, or sleep apnea make restful sleep harder. Irregular routines. Many retirees no longer follow strict schedules, which can confuse the body's natural circadian rhythm. A real-life story: John, a 69-year-old from Texas, often joked that he could get by on 5 hours of sleep. After dinner, he'd have a cup of coffee, watch late-night news, and sometimes drink a glass of wine before bed. At first he believed he was just a night owl, but over the years he noticed trouble focusing during the day, frequent mood swings, and worsening memory. After a routine checkup, his doctor suspected sleep apnea and recommended a sleep study. The results showed that John's brain wasn't getting the deep sleep needed to flush out toxins and restore function. His poor sleep habits, combined with untreated apnea, were putting him at greater risk for both heart problems and cognitive decline. John's story reflects a common challenge among seniors: underestimating the importance of quality sleep until the damage becomes noticeable. The solutions: the good news is that improving sleep is possible at any age. Experts from the Mayo Clinic and Harvard Medical School recommend several evidence-based strategies. Aim for 7 to 8 hours. This is the sweet spot for older adults. Consistently less than 6 hours is risky for brain health. Create a bedtime routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same time daily. Simple rituals like reading, listening to calming music, or light stretching signal the brain it's time to sleep. Limit caffeine and alcohol. Avoid coffee, soda, or even chocolate after midnight. Alcohol may help you fall asleep, but it disrupts deep sleep cycles. Make the bedroom sleep-friendly. Keep it cool, dark, and quiet. Invest in blackout curtains or a white noise machine if necessary. Address medical issues. Conditions like sleep apnea or restless leg syndrome require medical attention. If snoring, gasping, or frequent awakenings are a problem, consult a sleep specialist. Get natural daylight. Exposure to morning sunlight helps regulate circadian rhythm, making it easier to fall asleep at night. Stay active during the day. Physical exercise improves both sleep quality and duration, but avoid heavy workouts right before bed. For John, Lifestyle changes and medical treatment made a dramatic difference. By cutting out late-night coffee, sticking to a regular sleep schedule, and using a CPAP machine for his apnea, his energy improved, his memory lapses decreased, and his overall mood became more stable. The message: deep, restorative sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Skimping on sleep silently erodes brain health, but prioritizing it can sharpen memory, boost mood, and protect against dementia. Deep sleep is your brain's nightly reset button. Protect it, and your brain will protect you. Mistake number 5. Social isolation and chronic stress. Brain health isn't just shaped by food, exercise, or sleep. One of the most underestimated threats for older adults in the US is loneliness and chronic stress. These emotional factors may seem less tangible, but research shows they directly affect the brain's structure and function. Unfortunately, this is an issue many American seniors face daily, often in silence. The consequences: loneliness is not simply a sad feeling. According to the National Institute on Aging (NIA), social isolation among seniors is linked to a 50% increased risk of dementia. Chronic stress releases high levels of cortisol, a stress hormone that damages the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Over time, this accelerates memory loss, reduces the ability to concentrate, and increases vulnerability to Alzheimer's disease. The Alzheimer's Association has reported that seniors with limited social contact are twice as likely to develop cognitive decline compared to those who remain socially engaged. Beyond the brain, social isolation raises the risk of heart disease, stroke, and depression. In fact, a 2023 report by the U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health epidemic, comparing its health impact to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The causes: why are so many American seniors at risk? Loss of loved ones. Retirement often coincides with the loss of a spouse or close friends, leaving many seniors living alone. Limited mobility or health conditions. Pain, disability, or lack of transportation can make social activities harder. Cultural shifts. Unlike past generations, many families today are spread across states, leaving parents and grandparents without daily support. Technology gaps. While younger generations connect online, many seniors feel left out or struggle with digital tools. Stress also compounds loneliness. Constant worry about health bills, finances, or safety keeps the body in a state of fight or flight, wearing down the brain over time. A real-life story: Martha, a 74-year-old widow from Ohio, found her life drastically changed after her husband passed away. Once active in church and community events, she gradually withdrew, spending most days at home watching TV. Her children lived in different states, and phone calls became less frequent. At first, Martha told herself she enjoyed the quiet, but over time, she noticed she was forgetting simple things, felt drained of energy, and became more anxious. When she finally visited her doctor, she was told that her isolation and stress were contributing to her memory decline. Martha's story is not unique. According to AARP, 1 in 3 older Americans reports feeling lonely on a regular basis. Like Martha, many don't realize the serious impact until symptoms of memory loss or depression appear. The solutions: the encouraging news is that even small steps toward social connection and stress relief can dramatically improve brain health. Experts at Mayo Clinic and Harvard Medical School recommend: stay socially active, join community centers, senior clubs, or volunteer groups. Even weekly activities like attending a book club or cooking class provide powerful brain stimulation. Use technology to connect. Learning video calls, Facebook groups, or online communities can bridge the distance with family and friends. Libraries and senior centers often offer free tech classes. Build daily interactions. Simple habits like greeting neighbors, chatting with store clerks, or calling a friend can reduce feelings of isolation. Manage stress mindfully. Practices like deep breathing, Tai Chi, or meditation lower cortisol levels, helping protect the hippocampus. Adopt a pet. Studies from the University of Michigan show that older adults with pets report lower stress and less loneliness. Walking a dog or caring for a cat can also add structure to the day. Seek professional help. If sadness or stress feels overwhelming, counseling or support groups can make a significant difference. Medicare and many insurance plans cover mental health services for seniors. Martha decided to take small steps. She joined a local gardening club, started attending Sunday services again, and learned how to use Zoom to connect with her grandchildren. Within months, her mood improved, her memory lapses became less frequent, and she regained a sense of purpose. The message: human connection and emotional balance are not luxuries. They're brain fuel. Just as food nourishes the body, relationships and calmness nourish the mind. Connection and calmness are fuel for a thriving brain. Stay engaged, stay connected, and give your brain the environment it needs to flourish. As you've just seen, there are 5 common mistakes that many older adults in the US make after the age of 65. Poor diet, lack of physical activity, ignoring mental stimulation, unhealthy sleep habits, and social isolation combined with chronic stress. Each of these mistakes, if left unaddressed, can accelerate memory decline and increase the risk of dementia. The good news is, it's never too late to make a change. By taking small, consistent steps, eating more brain-boosting foods, staying physically active, challenging your mind, improving your sleep, and keeping strong social connections, you can protect your brain, stay sharp, and enjoy more years of independence and joy. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Matthew Miller from Matthew Miller TV. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming health tips. See you in the next video.